Hello everyone, welcome back to your English class. Today we will do the next poem of Unit 3, that is How to Tell Wild Animals. It is composed by Carolyn Wells, who was born in 1862 and died in 1942. She was an American writer and was very famous for books based on mystery. She has written many books which were based on the theme mystery. Her famous works are At the Sign of Sphinx, The Jingle Book, and The Story of Betty. This is the introduction of the poem that is given in your book. This humorous poem suggests some dangerous ways to identify wild animals. Read it aloud, keeping to a strong and regular rhythm. So, the tone of the poem is humorous. The poet suggests some dangerous ways to identify wild animals, but in a very funny way. So, we have to read it aloud. I request you all, if you are having books, let it be open in front of you while you are watching this video lesson. Let us first learn the new words which we are going to come across in the poem. First is ground. Ground means background. Discern, identity. Hide here means animal skin. Peppered hair means covered with spots. Cares means a gentle and loving touch. Novice, someone new to a job, a very new person. And then the last one is be nonplussed. Usually this word is used in passive form and it means be puzzled, be confused, or be surprised. This is a long poem which contains 6 stanzas comparatively to the poems which we have already covered, but at the same time it is very easy to understand. In a very simple language the poet has written it. So let us start with the first stanza. If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you are dying, you'll know it is the Asian lion. So, the poet is telling the reader, if ever you by luck get a chance to go to the jungles in the eastern side, and if there should to you advance, and if you find there a large and tawny beast means a yellowish brown colored animal. If you found a very large and tawny beast is moving towards you, you advance means moving towards you. If he roars at you, the Asian lion's characteristics has been described by the poet here, that it is a large and tawny beast and he roars, and he roars very loud, and the roar is loud enough to kill any person because of the fear. Anyone can die after hearing that roar. The roar is so scary. So the poet is telling, if he roars at you, then that roar is enough to kill you, to scare you enough to get die. So as you are dying, here she is adding the humor that as you are dying, as you are about to die, जब आप मर रहे होगे after hearing that roar, you will come to know, then only you will realize that you encounter an Asian lion. Now you must have observed that the format of this sentence is not correct. Actually, this poetic device is known as inversion. The poets are having poetic license. Poetic license means they are having the freedom to mold the spelling. Here G is missing, the word is actually dying. To mold any spelling or the format of the sentence, either to get the attention of the reader or to get it fit with the rhyming scheme. So the same has been done by Carolyn Wells here. She has changed the format of this sentence and she changed the spellings. She molded some spellings also in the poem so that they can fit in the rhyming scheme. If I'll talk about the rhyming scheme, the first line rhyme with the third line, the second line rhyme with the fourth line, and the fifth and sixth line rhyme with each other. Right? So let us learn about the rhyming schemes. The literary devices has been used in the first stanza. First we are having rhyming scheme A B C C. Then we are having enjambment. Enjambment means continuation of a sentence. You must have observed, and if there should to advance a large tawny beast. This is one sentence, right? So it is one sentence when we are having continuation of a sentence to the next line, this kind of poetic device is known as enjambment. Next we are having inversion, change in the format of a sentence. Alliteration, you know, when the consonant sounds repeat. Assonance is when the vowel sound is repeated. You should go, you should to, you roads. O sound is repeated continuously. Next we are having allusion. Allusion means reference to a famous thing, place or species of animal, and here the poet is referring to the Asian lion. Next stanza is, or if sometimes when roaming round a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow ground, just notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to discern. So here the poet is talking about the Bengal tiger. She is referring to another wild beast, that is Bengal tiger. The poet is telling, or if sometime when roaming round, means if sometimes you'll roaming round, you move forward in the jungle and you're just roaming round, a noble wild beast greets you, and you find that a noble wild animal is moving towards you, and it is coming towards you in a way as if it wants to wish you, with black stripes on a yellow ground. And the characteristics, the physical appearance of this animal is that it is having yellow skin with black stripes on it. Just notice if he eats you. And you just notice, now again here the humor has been added by the poet, that you will notice that he eats you. You will notice this animal, means it will not warn you before eating you, it will not roar before eating you, it just attack and eats you. This simple rule may help you learn. So when you are being eaten up by this animal, this rule may help you learn that this was the Bengal tiger. It will help you to identify that this animal is Bengal tiger. So the Bengal tiger is a noble looking animal which came towards you as if it wants to wish you. It will not give any warning and it just eats you up. So the poet is saying this is the simple rule to identify this animal. Let us see the rhyming scheme. Round, the first line is rhyming with the third line, the second line is rhyming with the fourth line, you, and the fifth line is rhyming with the sixth line, learn and discern. Right? Let us learn about the other poetic devices used in this stanza. Alliteration is there, repetition of consonant sound, roaming round R is there. Inversion, again there is change in the format of a sentence, that is the Bengal tiger to discern. Allusion, reference to a famous thing, place or species. Here Bengal tiger has been used, described, referred. Assonance is also there as O sound is repeated in the sentence, or if sometimes when roaming round. Now we are having the next stanza. If strolling forth a beast you view whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you'll know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good to roar with pain, he'll only leap and leap again. So now the poet is saying, if strolling forth, if walking forth, if walking, moving forward, you'll see another wild beast whose hide with sport, whose skin is peppered, is covered with spots. As soon as he has leapt on you, and as soon as it see you, it will jump on you. The word, the spelling of leapt, again the spelling, correct spelling is L-E-A-P-T, but the poet is again using leapt. Again she is taking the poetic license, poetic freedom to maybe to get the attraction of the reader. As soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good, and as soon as it jump on you, then only you will come to know that it is the leopard. And 'twill means it will, it is the short form of it will. It will do no good to roar with pain, that it is of no use to roar with pain, to cry with pain, because it is not going to stop that animal to attack you. He'll only leap and leap again, he'll only jump and jump again. Again leapt, 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 jumped and jumped again. The rhyming scheme: peppered leopard, pain again, and view you. Right? Next alliteration is there. Again the consonant sound her is repeated in he has. Repetition is there. The word lep is repeated in the last line. And consonants, again the vowel sound has been repeated in strolling, forth, you, whose, sport, do, no, good to, road. Let us read the next stanza. If when you are walking round your yard, you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he'll give you just one more cares. So here the poet is talking about another wild animal, that is bear. The poet is telling, if when you are walking round your yard and you meet a creature there, and what is the speciality of this creature? That he hugs you very, very hard. The bears hugs you very, very hard. It is not a gentle hug, and the hug is enough to kill a person. Be sure that it is a bear. And when you will get that hard hug, be sure, be confirmed that it is a bear. If you have any doubt, I guess, still you are having any doubt, he'll give you just one more cares, means it will keep on hugging you till you not die. So this is the way we can identify the bear. So in each and every stanza she is adding some or the other funny way how we can recognize these all dangerous animals. Let us see about the literary devices used in this stanza. Rhyming scheme is again A B C C, yard, hard, there, bear, guess, cares. Next we are having enjambment. Again there is a continuation of a sentence to the next line. If you were walking around your yard, you'll meet a creature there. Right? Alliteration. The consonant sound W is repeated. Hugs, who, hugs, H is repeated. B is also repeated in B and bear. Assonance, vowel E is repeated in meet a creature there. Now in next stanza, the poet is talking about two wild animals. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might nonplus. A novice means a new person. A person who is new to this wild animals, for whom these wild animals or jungle life is very, very new, he might nonplus means he might be puzzled to distinguish the wild animals of prey. The crocodile you always may tell from the hyena thus, means you will find, you may get difficult to identify or to distinguish between crocodile and hyena. Hyenas come with merry smiles. Why? Because hyenas have a smile always on their face. They create a sound before killing their prey, and that sound is similar to a laugh. So hyenas always carry a merry smile, but if they weep, they are crocodiles. And when you'll see a crocodile, you always see tears in their eyes. So for a new person, the poet is telling it is difficult to distinguish between hyena and crocodile. But how you can identify them easily? That hyenas will always have a merry smile, means they will create a sound like laugh before killing their prey, and crocodile always have tears while they are killing their prey. So in this way we can easily identify them. The rhyming scheme, again the same rhyming scheme followed in all the stanzas. Rhyme scheme is A B C C. The first line is rhyming with the third line, the second line is rhyming with the fourth line, and the last two lines are rhyming with each other. Alliteration is there. Consonant sounds are repeated. In novice, nonplus, n sound is repeated, and in the sound is repeated. Enjambment, continuation of sentence to the next line. The, to distinguish, might, nonplus, the crocodile, hyena. Thus these lines are in continuation. Next we are having last stanza. The true chameleon is small, a lizard sort of thing. He hasn't any ears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, 'tis the chameleon you see. 'Tis is short form of it is. So, in this particular stanza, the poet is talking about another wild beast, that is chameleon. It is small in size. The poet is telling it is a kind of lizard only. He hasn't any ears and not a single wing. And if you feel that there is nothing on the tree, it is the chameleon you see, means definitely there is a chameleon, because it could change its color according to its surrounding. It could change its color according to the color of the leaves or the bark of the tree. So the best way to identify the chameleon is that it is having the ability to change its color to get mixed with its surrounding. Literary devices, again the rhyming scheme is ABABCC, small all, thin wing, tree C, and alliteration, use of her sound is repeated, and consonance is also there as use of g sound, single and wing. When in between the letter or at the end of the letter consonant sound is repeated, then it is consonance. If it is repeated at the beginning, then it is alliteration, right? So this was our poem. I hope you understood.